a delicious mutton zala recipe which can be enjoyed on a Sunday afternoon lunch with either shada bhat or bashanti pulao. For making the mutton, firstly you have to boil the mutton in a pressure cooker until it blows up to 12 whistles. In the meantime, I'll take 1 tomato, 2 onions, 2 garlics and 4 green chilies. But I will not directly make a paste out of them. What I'll do is, to incorporate a smoky taste into the gravy, I will let the onions, tomatoes, garlic and chilies burn in the gas oven fire until it burns out completely. And now, after all the ingredients are burnt out completely, I'd cut the tomatoes and onions into 2 halves and also took out the cloves of the garlic and chopped the green chilies in 2 halves as well, so it would be convenient for me and for you all to make a paste of them easily in a mixer grinder. On the other hand, the mutton is nicely boiled and I strained the mutton from its stock and kept the stock aside because it would be used later. After the mixture is ready, I'll put mustard oil, that is MissUshie tel, on a karhai and let the oil heat itself to a pale yellow color. And after the oil is hot, I will put the paste into the oil and give it a nudge so that the paste cooks well in the oil. After the paste is cooked and a nice fragrance can be smelled, the time comes for the mutton to make its entrance. After putting the mutton into the karhai, let's now mix the mutton with the moshla being cooked on the karai. After mixing, you would notice that the mutton is a bit dry, and now is the time when you use the mutton stock which you stored earlier and put the stock into the karhai, which will help the mutton and the moshla cooked simultaneously with each other. Then, with the stock, give the mutton a good mix and cover the karhai for 5 to 10 minutes and let the mutton cook. After 10 minutes, when you open the lid, you can see the paste is tentatively incorporated with the mutton. In order to avoid any burn at the bottom, time to time mix the mutton with the help of a spatula, just like I'm doing it right now, so that the mutton does not get chipped at the bottom of the karhai. And the mutton stock if needed, if the gravy becomes a bit dry. Otherwise, if it is watery, avoid putting the stock, because this recipe needs to be enjoyed in a half gravy, half dry form. Now comes the part where all the spices be put into the mutton. that is, salt to your taste. I put 1.5 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of turmeric powder, 1 tablespoon of red chili powder, 1 tablespoon of cumin powder, and 1 tablespoon of coriander powder. Also with that, I put 1 tablespoon of Shahi Garam Masala. And after putting all of the spices, give everything a good mix so that the spices get nicely incorporated into the mutton. My mutton got a bit dry, so again I added the stock to avoid any kind of chipping at the bottom. The mutton is almost on the way to be cooked completely, but before that, the last but not the least ingredient of the mutton recipe should be put now. That is kasuri methi. Crush the kasuri methi in your palm and sprinkle the methi dust onto the mutton, and for the last time give everything a good mix so that the kasuri methi is incorporated into the mutton. Scrape the brownings on your karhai and voila, your delicious burnt mutton zala recipe is ready to be served hot and tasty. The reason I named this dish as mutton zala because the main ingredients of this dish are burnt. And jala, but jole jawa, is the Bengali terminology for burnt in English, and hence the name mutton zala. This dish can be devoured with either white rice or basmati pulao. I prefer any of the red mutton dishes with basmati pulao, which is excellently made by my mother. And this combination deserves a great ovation. Believe me or not, your Sunday lunch should deserve this presence of mutton zala recipe. The mutton is extremely soft, and when put in the mouth, it melted like a butter, which basically shows how the mutton is nicely and cooked well.